Do you have a paranormal story you want to share on Night Dreams Talk Radio? You could be a guest. Email us at nightdreamstalkradio@gmail.com. If you would like to hear Night Dreams Talk Radio on your local radio station, let them know. Tell them to check out www.nightdreamstalkradio.com, and thank you.
From our compound, from the West Coast to the East Coast to worldwide, both on the internet and terrestrial radio, you're listening to Gary Anderson on Night Dreams Talk Radio After Dark.
And here I am, and it is definitely After Dark where I'm at. You know, these volcanoes keep going off and all that stuff. You know, there was a guy who, well, kind of like spread a wire across a volcano, the mouth of one, and like walked across it.
Oh, boy. I've seen that on TV, actually, and you're just, first of all, it's dangerous to even do it anywhere, much less over a volcano that's a ticking time bomb. Some of them are anyway.
This one is an active one that's bubbling and gurgling, and he just walked right over the center of it with I would, of course, if you're going to fall anyway from height, you're dead. This one here, they don't have to worry about it. If he fell, he would have been cremated.
Yeah, it doesn't take long to cremate in one of those. It's pretty fast and efficient. And just like the people was at New Zealand, just visiting and sightseeing the place, and then it went up and none of them came home.
Well, the gas fumes is what kills you. The guy walking over across one, he's brave. All I can say is, a lady in Arkansas, just a few days before her 56th birthday, she goes in and buys a lotto ticket and wins $10,000. Isn't that a cool, birthday gift?
That is a great birthday gift. I'd like to have 2 or 3 of them myself. Absolutely.
Well, an escaped cow in a Scottish community blocks a commuter train for over an hour. I tell you, this wacky news is getting pretty bad this past couple of weeks. You know that.
It is. It seems like, and a lot of it is, I don't know if the animals are revolting against humankind or they're trying to domesticate themselves, but they've been, entering garages, houses, cars, campgrounds, and partaking in the beer and ringing doorbells, going in and tearing up houses, and all kind of assorted different things they're doing. And then they're getting pulled over for drunk walking. So, yeah, there's a lot going on with these animals.
I know. Yeah, I could see the drinking the beer and all that stuff, because I remember Ham's beer commercial when I was young. The bear would be walking with a can of Ham's beer. Every time I think of that old commercial, I feel like drinking a beer, but I don't like drinking. Firefighters rescue a fox dangling from a metal fence in Britain.
Oh, boy. That puts a whole new twist on them. The old fox hunt there. They kind of caught himself. Gee.
I think. Okay, go ahead.
Mm-hmm.
I interrupted.
I was going to say that I feel sorry for the foxes there, especially that guy. He's hung up on a fence. He's hung out to dry.
Yeah. You remember we were talking about, and I said, I don't think we should talk about it on the air, but I'm going to go ahead. A man in Great Britain suffers a 3-full-day erection after taking, a stimulant used to, breed bulls. You know what's going to happen after after his 3-day erection was over. He'll never get another one again. You know how much damage that would do?
I'll tell you, that sounds. I'm not even going to say what it sounds like because I might get in trouble. But it's how can I word this? But anyway, instead of going to his family physician, I think he went to a veterinarian, to cut cost.
What a crazy.
You're right, because the thing is, what you would give an animal to, help you out with he was way older to help him out with his 30-year-old date there. Animals, their metabolism is way bigger, so the dosage is probably 20 times what it should be for a human. So,
or more.
Yeah, right. Oh my goodness, that guy! Can you imagine? He was he was in a bad way, I guess. It never did say anything about how the date went. I guess he ended up in the hospital.
I would think after you have an erection for more than a half an hour, two things at one. You're going to be lightheaded because all your blood is down there. And two is you're going to start realizing something is wrong after about a half an hour to an hour. And then can you imagine after a day and then 2 days and 3 days and it's not, letting up? Again, I have read in the past, like with some medications that you go to the doctor, they give you, and they say some of the side effects may cause an erection. And if it causes an erection for more than an hour, seek emergency help immediately. That tells me that if you got an erection for over an hour, something's going to happen. Okay, not for the good. It might be good for the first half an hour, yeah. But then after that, I mean, could you imagine walking around the rest of your life with a banana in your pair of pants?
Well, I can tell you from my own account, when those first came out for humans, like 1996, I didn't know nothing about them, and my wife at the time, she said, "Hey, I got these things here from a friend of mine. Want to try these?" I didn't know what they was, So I took 3 of them. I thought, they're like chiclets, very small. Anyway, I thought the thing is, it's mental because after about 4 or 5 hours and a half day goes by and the day goes by, it's like you mentally never think you're going to be normal again. It really works on you mentally. It really does. And not to mention, the wife didn't have nothing to do with me either. Jesus.
Well, I can tell you a little story. Back in around the early 2000s, I had a bad migraine. And one of the guys that worked for me, as a joke, said, "Hey, I got some pills here for migraines." I was so desperate. My head was pounding. I was sitting at my desk. I couldn't even stare at anything. I was running into the bathroom, throwing up. The whole symptoms when you get a real bad migraine. He played a joke on me. He thought, and the rest of the crew thought it was funny. You know what he gave me?
Yeah.
It starts with a big V. And I didn't.
Yeah, a little blue.
And I didn't know. And I took the thing. And now I was sitting there at my desk, right, with a migraine, almost in verge of crying. And then all of a sudden, something's like huge. And now I'm embarrassed because I can't walk out of my little cubbyhole office because, and that's what they were waiting for.
Yeah, they were waiting for it.
Yeah.
Oh my God, and that's funny because I remember when those come out. I didn't know I didn't even heard of them. I didn't know what they were. It was like it gets to you mentally after hours. Then you're into the next day, and it's like your anxiety's like, is this never going to go away? It's terrible. Oh boy.
Yeah, and then you're sore afterwards. They say a kiss a day is surely a way to show your loved one that you love him. But do you realize kissing can cause cavities?
Oh, I never heard of that one. I do know there's 160 plus germs in your mouth, but yeah, that's a new one. That kissing could cause cavities. That's a new one on me.
Well, how about the guy that recently died? His dog licked him in the face or the mouth, right? And the guy came down and then he died. I my wife now, I don't even want to kiss her because I'm scared. What happens if I get some weird disease and, croak over it? Well, a woman lies about being late to work. Okay? And she showed proof that she had a flat tire with a nail in it. And she gives her, puts it up on her social media and tells her boss, well, look, I got a flat tire on the freeway. Here's the picture of it. So the boss, very nicely takes a look at the picture, zooms into it, and realizes the lady lied. And it was an epic Photoshop fail because you could tell it was not a real nail. It was quite obvious. It was faked. Big time.
Oh,
and she got fired for her little ploy of trying to get out of work. And then, hey, well, I got proof. Here's the nail. It was in the tire. Unfortunately, she Photoshopped it in. It was all planned, where she could come in hours late.
That's pretty elaborate planning just not to go to work. What the heck is going on there? But She should have just got a nail from a garage or hardware store and kind of like stuck it in there and like, here's the nail, let some air out of the tire. But the old Photoshop gets you every time.
Oh, yeah, and it does, and it's scary. Well, a woman in Pennsylvania, here's another person who decides to be honest.
Uh-oh.
Okay, she goes to the Pennsylvania library where she took out a child's book when she was in grade school and returns it 40 years later, past the due date.
Oh, what's the total bill on that one? Enough to buy the whole library?
I don't know. I'm willing to bet they're just happy enough to get the book, from the person being honest. But, hey, if I had a book I had for 40, 50 years, do you think the library is going to want an old book? No, but the point is, I guess, being honest is, I guess, important. But the answer is, why didn't she do this? That's the actual question. Why did she wait 40 years? She could have done it after a year or two or 10 or 20. Why did she wait to 40 years? She was scared to pay the fine. That's what it was. And then she held off for 40 years, figuring, hey, I held off now for 40 years, right? I'm old. So now they're not going to hit me with a fine. I know. I could read through her thing right there.
Yeah, it's almost like the statute of limitations ran out kind of thing. But, yeah, even my libraries around here, after not even 40 years, maybe 5 on some books or 10, they actually give them away for donations and bring in newer ones.
Okay.
40-year-old books. Our libraries here don't even have 40-year-old books.
No, and I got an email the other day, and I was going to talk about it yesterday, but I was sick, that a trucker named Samuel sent me a little story that he saw a UFO in Nebraska. Now, This is late at night. This UFO started out as a small aircraft, like a Piper Cub or something, so he says. And then it started turning into a cigar-shaped craft.
Wow.
And then it came to a stop and hovered. And then it shot out to space instantaneously.
Yeah, those are some scary sights. I just seen a report similar to that on a documentary yesterday, matter of fact. Kind of the same scenario what you're saying, pretty much. I mean, it was in a different state, but they had witnessed it. And it was stationary, like you were talking about, and it came right at them, kind of stopped and then shot off. Pretty much the same kind of report as what you're saying. I mean, it was a different state and a different year, though, but interesting.
Yeah, well, this one I find interesting because he said it looked like a small aircraft. And then it changed over to a cigar shape. Like it automatically just changed. Like maybe it was cloaking what it looked like.
Oh, that's a good point. Good point. Maybe they have technology that they can cloak different or make you see something that's not. That's a good theory too.
Well, that's true. Just think about this. Maybe some of these UFOs that are being sighted are UFOs, but how about these ones you go out there and you see a helicopter or you see a plane going by? How do you know that isn't a UFO? It's